Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of Perfectly Twisted.
How you been?
I'm Nicole Eggert, and this is Dave Palais.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. We skipped a week last week. It was Memorial Day. So I heard about it from a lot of people, but the timing was weird, and we decided to take a holiday. I hope everybody enjoyed theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. You've earned it for sure. For sure you have.
Yeah,
You've had
we all
a
have.
busy week though, from what I'm looking at on social media.
Yeah, it has been a busy week. Before we talk about it, can you guys hit that like button, especially if you're new to the show? We really appreciate it. It's just a little thumbs up, gives us a little boost of confidence. We really appreciate that. Yes, busy week. I've been working on this documentary. It's been 4 years now, and we sold it. ABC acquired it, so it will be
Fantastic.
streaming on Hulu. August, it looks like. So we're just wrapping up. ABC kind of steps in. We are so blessed. I mean, beyond words. We have the iconic, epic Muriel Pearson running it for us now, or with us, and helping us like package it up and getting ready to air. She's amazing. She's just amazing. She's ABC News. She runs it. She does 2020, Dateline. She did Oprah. She does all of it. She is the lady over there. So I got to sit down with her yesterday and do my interview, and it was exhausting. I was like, the rest of the day, I was so drained and like on the verge of tears all day. I mean, we touched on everything. We went deep. So it was good. It was a good interview. I'm glad I waited really to do mine. And yeah, so exciting stuff brewing.
So just curious, you don't have to give any details you don't want to give, but it has to be knowing how much time and effort you have put into this to know that the finish line is there. I mean, how great is this, that from the process of the idea to do it, to do this many years into it, all the hard work and all the editing and everything that goes into it and all the people that you're talking to know, okay, where the project is exactly where we thought it would be.
It's I think that's also why I was emotional after the interview yesterday, because it's also like it's final, like getting ready to kiss this baby goodbye. And it's amazing. I mean, I think it's well deserved. I think the project is just going to be amazing, and it's all well worth it. And thank God it was with Matt Felker, because he was unstoppable and persevered through it all. And yeah, it's just so well deserved. It's well deserved. It's for everybody involved. Because a lot of times with Baywatch, people didn't really get their stories out. You never really got to know who the people were. They got kind of boxed in as like, oh, another Baywatch babe, blah. And nobody really feels sorry for them when they're going through stuff, because it's like, oh, you're pretty. Wah, wah. There's a lot of that in this
Oh
world.
yeah.
So, and just a lot of people not being interested in them as people because maybe the acting wasn't so, up to par, or whatever the reason. It's just nothing like this has ever been done about the cast. And so it's very important on top of being fun. So, it's exciting, and I'm really happy for all the cast that they get to be seen for who they are and what they stand for and what they've been through, and just all of it. It's just really, it's really rewarding. It really is.
It has to be. I can't tell you how excited I am for you. And obviously you've put some of the people that are part of it on this show, and I imagine the excitement factor all the way around. Obviously, as you mentioned, Matt and yourself, you put so many hours into this, but like, who do you call? Like, when you realize, hey, we did what we set out to do, who do you call first?
I don't, it's funny is I don't really talk about it, because I am so always afraid of jinxing things.
Yeah.
I feel like when you talk about it, then everything falls apart. I think you work quietly, and I'm a big believer in working in silence, and then people going, oh wow, which is funny, because I think a lot of the people that we interviewed and we sat down with and that decided not to sit down with us, I don't think they realized how serious we were, in doing something amazing. Because, you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Come do this interview, blah, blah, blah. But so the people who were involved are really excited and really happy that they did it. A lot of people wanting to come back and do more now that they know, that we're doing something special. Um, but it's just I like to understate it and then people be surprised by it instead of,
Yeah.
talking about it and bragging about it and all of that, and then people going, "Wah, wah." I'd rather it be a nice surprise.
That's really, really exciting. It's pretty cool. So now I saw your social media yesterday. Obviously, you getting ready for your interviews and everything else. When that process, as far as your day went yesterday, how long was that day?
I cut my day short. I bowed out early. I wish I could have stayed longer, but, I had Keegan to get home to. She's on summer break already, so when I got the text that she was making pancakes, I figured I better get home.
That's cool. That's cool.
Before she burns the place down, let me get home. But I was there my day probably from 8 to about 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So not too long of a day. And,
No,
Jeremy Jackson was there, who we've had on the show, and it's always great to see him, and he's always doing amazing things. Uh, just really, really excited, and really excited that Muriel's sort of taking over and fine-tuning our baby and gonna make it fantastic.
that's cool. I can't wait to
Yeah.
see it. I'm really excited. I can't wait. So as we
Same.
get closer, you got to keep letting people know and remind them about what's happening. It's funny that Baywatch over the last few weeks, it seems like when I flip through the channels, through the movie channels, it's not your Baywatch, but it's the Baywatch, with The Rock, the movie. It seemed like it was on all the time. Like I cannot flip through the channels without it being on. When
Oh,
they
really?
remake, yeah, when they remake, obviously a show that you were on, do you take pride in that it's relevant, or do you say, like what's your attitude when you find out they're going to make a Baywatch movie?
Oh, I got really excited, and then I got even more excited when they represented my character because they
Yeah,
considered it, one of the originals, and I was like, "Yes." And I tweeted, the actress, Daddario, right? Her name, yeah, and
I,
she's gorgeous. Wait, what were we gonna say? Her name, you know
no,
her
no,
name,
no.
right?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Finish what you're saying.
she was super kind back, and I just was like, "I'm honored that you're doing this," and, um yeah, it just for me, it's just it's I get giddy, it's a thrill.
Yeah,
It's a compliment. So yeah, I was really excited and again, my character was there. I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, Summer."
I'd feel
Yeah.
the same way. I'd feel the exact same way to go. You could have chosen from so many people, and my character was relevant enough that you decided to represent it. That to me, that's pretty exciting. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how
Really,
I
really
looked at it
cool.
anyway. I was thrilled.
Good.
Yes. Yes.
I think there are
Yes.
a lot of people that obviously hear you start the show and you share this information, Nicole, and they're like, you know what, good news, and they're happy to see you get good news. It's if anything, you deserve this. Like it's been a tough 2024 up to this point.
Yes. It has. I think about when we started this documentary, it's been a rough few years. We went through the pandemic. We've come out of the pandemic. You know, we've been up against a lot. So, and then yes, and then of course the cancer diagnosis. And yeah, it's nice to have some good news and some positivity happening and to be excited about something.
Exactly. You mentioned cancer. How you feeling right now? How's everything going?
I feel great. I feel really good. Again, this fifth round kicked my butt.
It
Um,
did.
yes, it did. Yes, sir. It kicked my ass all around the room. I mean, it's like I'm on a protocol now that's only one chemo, luckily. Before I was doing two at a time. But it's a cumulative. So if I had just been one of these people that had to do 4 rounds, I would have been like, "Oh, yeah, kicked its ass," so happy, but, I have to do 8. So, the 5th, I luckily, Keegan went to Mammoth to go snowboarding with a friend, a family friend, and their kids, and, I mean, it's like, you inject yourself with all this poison, actually, is what it is. And
Yeah.
then you wait. You wait for it to start just getting into your system. So it takes a couple days. By Friday night, I mean, I was, like, looking at my remote trying to figure out how to make a phone call. My TV remote, my little Apple TV remote.
Oh,
I was looking at it,
shit.
trying to figure out how to text somebody. And then when I realized when it finally, computed in my brain that it was the TV remote, I was like, "Oh, fuck this. Fuck it." And I threw it and just rolled over. I was like, "Let's just do this." So I probably spent about 6 days just feeling the poison. I mean,
Yeah.
it like my throat closes, my head starts pounding. You can feel it in your organs, you can feel it in your muscles, you can feel it in your bones. I was having excruciating back pain, just like shooting pains down my back. Um, and then, all you can taste is metal, all you can taste is the chemo. So it's not only tastes gross, but it can like it's so strong it makes you nauseous. And then
Yeah.
anything it was like it was giving me reminders of when I was pregnant. And any woman who's been pregnant and had morning sickness knows that like I can smell the laundry detergent down the hall and it feels like you're drinking it. It feels like you're like sucking on a detergent lollipop and everything was making me just like so sick. So that was it was a ride. It was a ride I had to strap on. Yeah, just super painful, super, super physically painful.
Did you mentioned that ones before made you extremely exhausted? Were you able to sleep?
Here and there was a lot of pain, so I was just like kind of just sweating it out, and it's like that's all you can do. There's like my
Yeah.
friend Christy came over and she was like rubbing my head and rubbing my back for a bit, and she went and got me some soup, and it was like I felt like a child, like just to be touched was like so soothing. Um, And thank God I have a friend that can, like, crawl in bed with me like that,
Yeah.
and just start petting me, like, amazing. And, it's just you just gotta get through it. But I had this entire bullet point argument that I was gonna bring up to my doctor as to why I should not do any more rounds of chemo. Why this was it and I was done, And
Yeah.
like, in my mind, this was making sense. I was like, "I can't do this again. This is gonna be my argument. This is gonna be my argument. This is how I'm gonna present it." Like, that's just what was going through my mind. And then, of course, when I came out of it and started feeling better,
Yeah.
I go, "Okay, no, you have to do this. This is how it goes." So when they say it's a battle,
Yeah.
it certainly is. Certainly,
It is.
certainly is. Mhm.
It is. So how often are you getting, your treatments, your chemo treatments?
I go every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So now I get a nice week of until Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Next Tuesday, I get a good I get a good 9 days of feeling good. So
Okay.
that's, recovery period. It's enough time to make you appreciate and know that you will bounce back. I didn't know if I was
Yeah.
bouncing back. Like, is this it? Is this how I'm gonna go? Um, but it gives you enough time to feel good and realize again, wrap your head around why you're doing this.
Good.
And there's a bit of a depression that comes with it too. So when you come out of the physical pain, then you're emotionally just super sad.
Yeah.
And so there was 2 days of that where I wasn't hurting and feeling sick anymore, but I was like depressed and boohoo and gloomy. And then back to normal. So thank God for that.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
So did you while you were obviously not leaving the house, did you get a chance to catch up on TV shows? What were you watching?
Okay. Yes. Wait, before we get to what we're watching, because I
Yes.
want to see if you heard about this too. I am a big mascara freak. I don't know about you guys. Mascara is so important. And I always use Thrive. It's my favorite. I like how it doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge. I like the way it goes on. Looks really natural, but it's $40 and you have to do it through the mail. So my Keegan goes, I heard about this great mascara. Leave it to her to come home with the best mascara ever, drugstore mascara. It's from L'Oreal. It's the telescopic. Telescopic. It is $10.99.
Oh, wow.
It's got this really good little like flexi brush. Like it really bounces really fine, like fine tooth. Is that the brush is really fine? I love it. No flaking, no smudging, and like I barely have any eyelashes left, folks. And so mascara is super weird and important right now, and I can put this on, and it, kind of emphasizes what I do have left without like clumping and looking weird and gross. Highly recommend trying it. Telescopic L'Oreal, 10.99 CVS or Target or wherever you go.
You ever ask your daughter how she knows? It's amazing.
I
It's
know.
amazing that she's on top of this.
She is she should have her own show. She
Yeah.
just knows about everything. She really is like this little encyclopedia of all the products. Um and a lot of it is like she hears and reads about it. She's up on all of that and is up to date with all of it. But you also have to have like a hunch. Some of it is sort of like you have to have some kind of, because I see great things about all kinds of mascaras all day long. Not her. She went in, she's like, there's one. Sure enough, best mascara ever. So yeah, she's got a good gut instinct on these things.
You know what's funny? As you're talking, I think about the conversations your younger daughter must have with your older daughter and telling her, what she found, and your older daughter going,
Yeah.
What's up with this kid?"
How
Like,
did you know? Yeah. Well, and my oldest will say to me, I mean, she has some taste. And I'm like, I know. I know. It's outrageous. It is outrageous. But I mean, every time we walk by a Sephora, she goes in and she can spend her day in there. She just tests everything, looks at everything. Um, yeah, she can't get enough of it. So
she's on top of it. Wow,
she's on top of
look at
it.
that.
Yep. I
That's
know.
there you go.
I love it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm
So
glad.
what we are watching,
Yeah.
did you see that Ryan that dates that Jen from Housewives is the bookie that took the money from what's his name?
Otani.
Otani,
Otani's interpreter.
Otani's
Yeah.
handler. Yeah. He's the one that was the bookie that was taking
No,
the money.
no, I
So
didn't. I
Orange
didn't know.
County has picked their cameras back up.
Ooh,
This is
no.
gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Yes, it's that Ryan. Now we know what he does for a living or did for a living.
Well, now he's going to prison. I
I
mean, it doesn't look good at
know.
all. I mean,
I
that's
think
what the government always says is they go after the bookies more than the guys who are placing the bets. They're going after the bookies.
well, guess who was the bookie? That
Wow.
Ryan that dressed like a 90s middle schooler.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
So that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. And let's talk about for a second, why are bookies I'll tell you something in this country. You could get away with murder before you could get away with stealing money from the government on any
Exactly right.
level. On
You're
any
right.
level. You deal with money and you're shady about money, you will spend the rest of your life in jail. They don't play
Yep.
with that.
No.
And in their defense, in these bookies' defense, I don't really understand why gambling is so illegal. I know it's because the government wants their share and they're not getting their cut, and so they make it illegal. But it's like, why can't it fall under some kind of like, I mean, they have casinos, there's gambling. Like, why is betting on sports so illegal?
In California, it's illegal. In most states, it's legal. So they passed the law in almost every single state that it is legal. California shocked me when California tried to legalize sports gambling and they turned it down a few years ago. Just like, well, California and Oregon, and they were some of the first states to legalize, marijuana. But then if you go back, a bunch of states in the South, you can legalize sports gambling, but there's no legalization of marijuana. It was surprised me when it didn't pass in California. And if you go to, you go to New York, or I imagine, Nicole, you're a big sports gambler. So, but in California, it's illegal. And so you've always had these guys. I mean, when I was in high school, everyone placed bets behind the local, grocery store, on a Friday to get ready for the football games coming up on the weekend. And it's still kind of that way. That's why a guy like Ryan, was somebody people went to. The big thing in sports also is you don't gamble on the sport that you're associated with. It is
Well, that part.
literally, Yeah, I mean, you've been, obviously at Angel games and Dodger games, and I'm sure you've gotten behind the scenes tours. But if you ever before you walk into a Major League Baseball clubhouse, the thing on the front door doesn't say, LA Dodgers or Angels. It says the whole law on why you don't gamble on baseball. It is the number one rule that you never gamble on the sport that you're with. And according to Otani's interpreter, who is admitted to everything, he never gambled on baseball. And there's another player right now that's under investigation, David Fletcher, who's with the Atlanta Braves now, that was with the Angels, that gambled with Ryan also. And now, there's, he's in a lot of trouble too. But not only is it a lifetime suspension from your sport, but as you said right away, you could get away with murder easier than you can get away from stealing money from the government.
Yeah.
And the government's like, yeah, it's taxable dollars. That's against the law. And boy, these guys are in a lot of trouble,
Yeah,
Like you're looking
they
at long time
don't
prison time.
play. But
Yeah.
here's where it gets gray area for me because I know a lot of the bookies run down to Vegas, right? They run down to
Yeah.
Nevada and they place these bets. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like over the border. If they're doing it in Nevada, is it because they're taking the money from California? This gets very gray.
It
Because why
does get
doesn't just
gray.
everybody drive over the border or like wire the money over the border? Like there's got it, or I guess that'd be wire transfer fraud. But I mean, how do there's got to be a way to avoid this.
There's well, a lot of big time sports gamblers, and look, I'm a sports guy. I've said all along, but as much as I've been around sports over the last 30 years of my career, and I talk to the athletes that are going to play in the games, I I'm telling you, I don't gamble on sports. I just something always happens. Not saying that games are fixed, but look, I never understood gambling on horse racing. Like I can't talk to the horse. I don't, but I can
Yeah.
talk to the athlete and he can tell me I have a bad knee or a bad hamstring, whatever it is. And still the games always seem to end up in the house's favor. When a football game's favored by 3.5, and the goal is to get equal play on both sides. So you come back until you lose all your money. That's always the goal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they try and get as many people to take the over as take the under, and eventually you will lose your money. But there's, as I said, there's a reason why those light bills are paid in Vegas, and that sports books are where you see a lot of people go for March Madness or the Super Bowl and that kind of thing. But right now in California, there are people that use guys like Ryan from Orange County to say, hey, he plays the house, and then I'll win in the end is his attitude. That's usually the attitude as I use his name, but it's a lot of people say it's mafia related still, all that stuff. I don't know. I don't want anyone coming after me, but at the same time, you're talking, 60 to 80 million dollars involved with Ryan that we know about. I mean, you have to assume it's well over $100 million.
Yeah. 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 But
Holy
like,
cow.
if you're
What a
gonna do
storyline.
if you're gonna do that job, why not just live in Nevada? Because then you're covered, or then you're safe, or what? Like I'm so confused. I'm so confused. It's so close, people.
Yes.
Nevada, Las Vegas is so close to Los Angeles. I don't understand why you would risk spending your life in jail when you could just live in Las Vegas. I don't know. I'm missing something.
Again, I don't know how it works when you cross state lines. I don't know if you accept a bet in California where it's illegal and you're going across state lines to place that bet. I have no idea. But if you place that bet where it is legal, then you're fine. It is interesting. I don't know. I mean, let me ask you, I mean, just as a personal question, do you think sports gambling should be legal everywhere? Or do you think it's one of those that's too dangerous for people to lose, their savings, their kids' college fund? Where's your feeling on gambling?
Well, listen, people are addicted to gambling. They're going to gamble. Their online gambling is legal. So I'm not really sure where all of
Online
this,
sports gambling isn't if you're in California.
but not sports gambling, but other
Yeah.
kinds of car
Yes.
gambling and
You
all
can
of
play
that
poker
is.
and stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Um, there's Indian reservation casinos everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, Vegas is a quick drive, a very quick flight. Um, so to me, it's like other things where no, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't get it. I would imagine because the numbers are so big with sports gambling that's why they won't legalize it, because California wants their taxes and they want their money. That part is like pretty glaringly obvious because every other kind, people aren't losing on the same amount of money online gambling as they are sports gambling, I would imagine. But, you know, gamblers are gonna gamble. So, I don't know, figure out a way to work together.
So there's a reason why, when you look at, let's say, the football schedule, football in California starts at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sundays, and then the next game's at 1 o'clock, and then there's Sunday night football. There's a reason why Sunday night football is always the highest rated game. It's because the people who have lost or won early in the day, they're going, I'm going to continue my hot streak, and I'm going to bet the last game of the day, or I lost a ton of money and I'm going to chase the money I just lost. And so the ratings for Sunday Night Football are always the top 5 highest rated TV shows of the year because people are chasing that money or trying to run a hot streak.
Okay, well, now that we've talked about this and I thought about it, I changed my mind. I do not think it should be illegal. I do not.
Yeah.
Who are you hurting? You're not hurting anybody. It's your money. Spend it how you like. I just don't see it in controlling people how they spend their money. If you have a problem, you have a gambling problem, that's a you problem. Alcohol is legal.
Yep.
Now marijuana is legal. If you've got a problem, you need to deal with that. So no, I don't understand why sports gambling is illegal. Not at all. I don't get it.
I'm with you on that. And everything you just said right there. That's how I kind of feel is, look, if you're an alcoholic, there's a liquor store somewhere you can get to and you're going to abuse yourself. If you're a gambler, you're going to empty your bank account. That's a you problem. If you can't control whatever your habit is, that's a you problem.
And let's face it, they're not making it illegal because they're worried about people. They're making it illegal because they want a cut of the money, which is dirty to me because like I said, they're not hurting anybody. If I have a paycheck and I want to gamble at all. And let me ask you a question. Isn't fantasy football and all that, isn't there money involved with that?
If there's money involved, if you have an agreement like your friends, you said there are 10 people in a league and everybody puts in, $1,000. I mean, that's a you kind of thing. I mean, technically when I know you haven't worked in a corporate office, but they do March Madness brackets for college basketball and people throw in money. Well, technically the government can come into every one of those offices and arrest everybody in there. It is sports gambling.
Oh, they can. Oh, they
Oh,
can.
yeah.
Oh, it is illegal. I was gonna say
Oh,
because
yeah.
you see it like those bingo cards, right? And you fill it out and
Yeah.
everybody does all of that. So I think that there's a difference in the law though, like when you pool your money together instead of playing against a house. Isn't that's why
I believe so.
that's why some of those Guy Pow or what, or Pai Gow is legal because you play against the other players, not playing against the house. That's where the loophole is. But I mean, come on. Yeah, leave people alone with their money. If they want to blow it all or make a lot of money on sports gambling, leave them alone.
It's always the secret that nobody talks about. Like in pro football, they have the deal where you have to, on Thursdays, you have to submit your injury reports. And if you aren't honest on your injury reports, you get fined a tremendous amount of money. Now, the reason the injury reports exist, it's all because of gambling, right? The NFL won't ever talk about that it's gambling, but it is because they understand if Tom Brady's not playing and you just told everyone he is playing, it changes the odds of the game. And so, who we can. So pro football and other sports, football especially, is where they gamble the most. But what they do is the NFL will say it's all about the teams and the games. It's not. It's about gambling. It's about fantasy football, and then it's about your teams. And they know the interest levels there. Football's the easiest sport to gamble on. Baseball's the hardest sport to gamble on because the payoff's not as good if you just bet starting pitchers. It's just not the same. But it's one of the reasons football's so popular. It's become America's pastime when it used to be baseball in the 70s. Now football easily crushes every sport because of the gambling.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. If they don't want the players to gamble on the sport, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense on a few different levels. But if other people, I mean, oh my God. Yeah, the government and those taxes, they're greedy efforts, aren't they?
Let me tell you though, what you just brought up might be the greatest thing to happen to Bravo, which is saying a lot because Bravo has done extremely well over the last 20 years. But to have the whole thing surrounded by not only the number one baseball player in the world and the dirtiness, and now they have an inside connection. You might have a guy that's on the show being put away in prison for 30 years right in front of our faces. How crazy is that going to be?
It's a big deal.
It's a big damn deal.
Really big deal. And all those women are going to be going, I told you so. It's a
Now
jet. Told you he
now
was
you
no
got
good.
Yeah, but now you got guys who weren't even following the show that going, I got to watch the show.
Yeah.
You just brought in a whole new audience. Yeah.
For sure. Yes, it's a big deal. When I heard that, I almost fell out. I was like, "Of course. This is just." And then you wonder with Jen, like, is she that oblivious that she doesn't know what her husband does? I mean,
Ridiculous.
I've been around guys who are bookers.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been around them. I've known a few, I'm not gonna lie. And they're always on their phone. They're always answering something. They're always, especially around game time. I mean, they are busy. How does she not know? How does she I would think he
She
was
don't wanna know.
a dealer. I would think I would obviously know that something was going on. Is she, like, that self-involved that she doesn't know what he does? They don't talk about it? You don't ask, like, "Where do you get your money from?" Like, what's going on here?
I'm with you. I don't understand how you could be in a relationship with someone and not know what they're doing. Why would you put your head in the sand? Especially when there are kids involved. How could you go
Yeah.
that route?
I mean, I would think it would be easier to hide an affair or in a completely different life than it would be to hide being a bookie
Yeah.
because, I mean, there's just no escaping that. People are approaching you, calling you nonstop. And obviously he's running to Vegas every every couple days.
Yeah.
Like, what I don't know. It's weird.
Her ex-husband's in Oklahoma laughing his ass off, I'll tell you that,
Oh,
you know?
unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't like they were just dating, they were talking about getting married, right? Like, she wanted to get married. How do you not know what they do for a living?
Exactly right. I'm with you. I
She's
don't get it at all.
dodging a big bullet. Can you imagine if they did get married and she was now accountable? That's
You
scary.
aren't kidding. Yep, you aren't kidding. Absolutely
That's
right.
really
Absolutely
that's really
right.
scary. Everything she worked for would be frozen. That would be just
When does that
horrendous.
show come back on? When does
Well, they
Housewives
picked
of Orange
cameras
County?
back up. As soon as that
Yeah.
broke, they picked cameras back up. So, I don't know exactly when it's coming back, but when it comes back, it's gonna be good.
Tamara can't wait, guaranteed.
Oh, I know. They are. Oh god. Yes, I can't imagine. I can't imagine the ugliness that's gonna rear its head. That's for sure. So what else? Did you watch the, Vanderpump
I
reunions?
I did. I watched the end of that. It was, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed all 3 for the same reasons you brought it up a couple weeks ago. It felt like the realest reunion ever, and it felt that way, I think, because I said the maturity of their age, that they aren't, it wasn't
Yeah.
like when they first started, and I like this that they addressed the fact that it is a show. I mean, the word show came up a bunch of times. Also, I love the fact that Lala says, "I need this." "I need this show. You're damaging the well-being of my future and my kids. I need this show." The fact that you've done so well privately, because of the show, now that you're kind of turning your back on the show, I thought Ariana saying, "I didn't watch one episode," was ridiculous and embarrassing. I mean, Andy had to sit there and go, "Really?" Like,
Yeah.
everyone in this room is invested, and there are a bunch of people behind the scenes that you don't even see that are invested in this product, and you're a star of the show, maybe the biggest star this year, and you couldn't watch one episode to see what was going on. You're above
You know,
everything.
I keep flip-flopping with that Ariana because, part of me also thinks she's still healing, she's still really hurt, and, although we as viewers can sit back and go, "Oh, well, you should have seen it coming because 'cause didn't you get with him? The cheat," and, they're all cheaters, it still was a lot of years out of her life. She was
Yeah.
living in a home with this man, she trusted this man. She deals with mental health issues. She's very open about that. So part of me is like, she should be allowed to heal however she wants. So if she doesn't want to keep watching and keep opening her wound by watching the show, she's allowed. She's entitled to that. And also, like when she didn't want to have a conversation with him on camera or, interact with him, she brought up a good point that she showed up to everything. She went on the trip. She did all the things. She was there. And she didn't want to talk to him. He makes her sick. And I get it. And she should be allowed that. So I go back and forth. I got a little protective over her after watching the reunion because the way the show was edited, I was feeling like she was entitled, she was being a little bratty, blah blah blah. But when you listen to her talk, I don't know, I really empathized with her, and I feel like she got a lot going on, and she hasn't quite healed, and she does deal with mental health issues. She's jumped into another relationship rather quickly, which probably isn't the best idea, but she's got a lot to work out and it's all in the public eye. It's all being scrutinized, every move, every word, everything. There's a camera in your face. It's a lot. It's a lot. And they are young. And so I feel bad for her. I do. deal. Like, she did show up, she did do her job, and she just doesn't want to talk to that guy. And quite honestly, I wouldn't want to talk to him either. You know, a lot of people, you break up, you have a big, huge, almost like it was like a divorce. You don't have to see that person.
No,
And your
no.
friends know not to talk to you about them. You get to go on and you get to like get your mind off of it. This poor girl has to see him and hear about him every single minute of every single day. So, there's that.
Also, what I think a lot of people don't understand, I mean, some people understand, you understand, I understand that the show isn't being recorded the week that you see it. You know, it's basically when everything, hit the fan, they were back in filming pretty soon. And, as you said, everything's a little bit raw. I did
Yeah.
like what, Lala said. Like, to me, that was the most genuine I've seen her, where I'm always critical of her that, hey, I'm going to speak my mind right now. And, I need this. That's what I enjoyed. It wasn't a lot of other people on the show. I mean, the last of the three, it was kind of Lala and just drew a blank. The girl, Sheena, on the show, but like James hardly said a word on the show. It was never addressed to him. So he didn't have to say anything. And the Tom that lives by you did hardly said anything. Tom Schwartz barely said
Yeah.
anything. But I enjoyed all three. I really did. I enjoyed all three shows, and for a season that they weren't sure could the show survive, I think definitely you're looking forward to the next season.
Yeah. And, listen, I thought that Lala made a lot of good points as well. But two things can be true, right? So,
Yes,
you know, you have different perspectives and different things can be true, but that's what makes the show interesting. If everybody just agreed, we wouldn't have a show.
exactly right.
So, what Lala's points were valid for Lala and for some of the cast members. Ariana's points are valid for Ariana and her health. So, you know, that's what makes it go around. That's what makes it a little bit more thought provoking and a little bit more enjoyable, in my opinion.
Are you? I agree. Are you sticking around for the Valley? Are you watching it?
I am. Um, I watched what happens live with that Jesse, and I keep thinking he's an actor because he's such a narcissist. He's such an obvious narcissist, and I keep reminding myself he's a realtor. He's a real estate agent. Um, he can't take a joke for one flipping second about himself. He is just way too much, too serious. I can't stand it. Um, and then Jackson Brittany, and then I saw Brittany, a clip of Brittany doing a podcast, and here she goes with, "I don't want to leave my house. I love my house." These people live in these cookie cutter homes in Valley Village. They go up. There's 5 to a block. This is not a special home. Go get another one. There's one being built every day. They look like they're just like these kits that people pop up and they all look the same. And they've overpaid for it. For it's not even a great investment that you're like, now I'm really attached to it, right? They
Yeah.
overpaid. And so there we go with the she doesn't want to let go of the house. So that's, to me, this looks like this is going to be an ugly divorce. You know what I did? I was at lunch with my friend John, and he's like, "I know where James Kennedy was," and I was like, "He's got to live right by me." And he goes, "I know, I have his address." So I put it in Waze. He lives
Yeah.
2 miles from me. So I was like, "Let's go. Let's go over there." So so sure enough, he's 2 blocks over and 2 blocks to the left and 1 block north of me. And listen, the house he overpaid for, he paid $1.3 million. He pays 60 something dollars a month mortgage. The house is cute. It's like a 1940s house that's been redone. It's a great starter home. Again, overpaid because it had been redone. The street's a little crappy. Definitely is an up and coming neighborhood, which I would then turn and say that they made a good investment. But I can't imagine those two staying for the next 10 years for it to pay off,
No.
If you bought a home on that street and you fixed it up, then you're in the money. That would be a good investment because then you could turn around and make it a rental when you wanted to leave. So yeah, that was kind of funny. We drove by, we're like, that one. So he's right by me.
Yeah.
Right by me.
I think you called it just by when you
Yeah.
saw the planes. You said,
Uh,
"This guy has to live right by me."
yes, and, in his defense with all the plane, everybody being, like, in the flight path,
Yeah,
Burbank is really particular, so those planes only go overhead a couple hours out of the day, not even.
yeah,
There's some in the morning and there's some in the evening, otherwise they reroute them. They do so so much shooting here, filming here, and,
yeah,
it's very old town, Burbank. It's very, like it's a conservative city. It's very old town. It's got a lot of money, and, they so, with the studios and all the filming and the residents that pay their taxes and are so involved with everything that goes on, the planes only go overhead like that for a little while. Right now, at my place, there's nothing. There won't be anything all day,
yeah.
and then, in the evening, there'll be some, and early morning, but so it's not that bad for everybody
There you
making
go.
fun of him.
No, no, I'm not making fun of him. I do agree with you. I don't think his relationship is for the long haul. It doesn't sound
No.
like they have the same ideas as far as what they want as they get older, though. I do like. I gotta tell you though, I do like the Valley. Like I look forward to watching it. It's Jax is insane, but some of the other people on the show, I tend to like, and I tend to say, okay, I'm looking forward to seeing it every single week. I know next week's the last one for the first season. Um, the one guy that's married to the beauty contestant, the one that's short, that's emotional. I don't know why that guy makes me laugh, but when I see a grown man like tear up and cry and say he doesn't have thick skin, I don't know what it is, but
He's an
that guy
actor.
is my oh my god, he's my favorite guy on the show because I'm like, is this guy gonna start crying? I don't know why it cracks me up.
He's
It
he's an
cracks me up.
actor,
Yeah,
so yeah, he's very in touch with his emotions. Um, I'm worried about Kristen. I'm not gonna lie, I'm worried about Kristen and this said baby that they're trying for. I'm wondering if she realizes she cannot drink like that when she's pregnant.
yep,
I am wondering if, she realizes she might not get pregnant because of the amount of alcohol she is consistently consuming. No judging, just, you really shouldn't. You gotta kinda
yeah,
get that squared away. And is she making this decision to have this baby with this guy because she's drunk and she just thinks it sounds like a good idea? Because I'm a little confused here why she just is on this mission to have a baby. If you're on a mission to have a baby, do it like Lala, you know, do it correctly. Have all your ducks in a row. Don't do it with some guy that listen, he doesn't seem to be the brightest bulb in the shed. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's not the brightest crayon in the box.
yeah,
So I'm feeling like he might just wake up one day and go, "Holy shit," and take off. Then what?
yeah.
Uh,
Well, I wonder if it's as soon as next week because all the rumors going into next week's show was that, she's cheated on him. He doesn't sound like the kind of guy that's hanging around if someone's cheating on him. So I'm
oh,
kind of
she
curious to see
did?
how this show
Oh,
goes. Well, that's the rumor, but the way they start up these rumors. So
yeah.
we'll find
Ugh,
out next week what he thinks. But if I'm his family, I'm like, dude, you got to run for the hills. Get the hell out of here. Come back to Colorado. She's a maniac.
yes. Yes, yes, yes. Or stay and play and have fun, but don't get her pregnant,
No, yeah, whatever
right?
you do
Like,
not get her pregnant.
do not get her pregnant. Not now, not right now. And as far as back to James and Allie, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but she put out an album or at least a single. She put out a song, "Girls Girl," and she's got a cute little voice. And then I saw that they were doing like a children's. They did some sort of children's event where they did music, and he was rapping, very kid friendly, and she was singing, very cute. So I do see them having like some sort of successful business venture together. I also saw him doing some country stuff. So I feel like he's the only one that takes Lisa's advice. He's the
You're
only
right.
one.
You're
He's
absolutely
the
right.
only one that listens to her, respects her, and seeks her advice and follows through. And he's the one that's going to be successful because of it. He's
Pretty
the only
amazing,
one. The
right?
rest of them, they think they're smarter than her for whatever reason,
Of
or they
course.
just don't want to be, having to give her a piece or whatever their flipping issue is. They don't listen and they rebel against her. He's listening and he's making all the right moves. So whether they last or not, I feel like that they can at least be successful together.
Exactly.
to an
No,
extent.
you're
Yeah,
you're you're right. He is the only one that listens. That's a good point.
he's the only one. He's smart.
That
He's a smart
yeah.
cookie.
There there you go. All right, let's get to today's mailbag. Again, if you have a question for Nicole, it's easy. All you have to do is go to the website, perfectlytwistedpod.com. Nicole's mailbag is at the top. If you submit a question, we'll try and get it in. And we have questions from 3 different people today, Nicole. Okay.
Okay.
All right. First one's going to be from Chris. It says, Nicole, do you ever think about going back to school or going to college?
Ha. Okay. This is a loaded question. My friend John just did it. He went to a local community college and just got accepted into Notre Dame, Stanford,
Wow.
Pepperdine. He got accepted into a plethora of amazing schools, and he's going to do it. I've thought about it. I also am a big advocate for not going to college. I feel like it's part of the system where uh, the government wants you in debt, and I watch all these young people start their lives in debt. Now, if you know exactly that you want to be a doctor, or you know exactly what it is you want to do, and your mind's made up and you know it, yes, go for it, do it, all full force with all your chest, go do it. If you don't know, I just don't think that college is the place where you play around. So a community college, great, but it's like how we have Experian and all this like credit rating. This is all the machine working against us. It's the biggest joke in the world. The more in debt you are, the more money they're going to give you, and I I'm fully against it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm very proud of my oldest daughter. She got accepted into all the schools she wanted to go to, chose not to, chose to go to work. She has a career. She's self-sufficient in New York City, I might add. It's big, and she has no debt. So there's that's a really touchy thing. And if I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, or I wanted to go after something, I might entertain that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to live right now. I'm just trying to like get through chemo and be cancer free. So I'm not entertaining that at the moment. But if I need it, I would go.
There
Sure.
you go.
And especially since you can do so much of it online, by the way.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one from Chris. Says, Nicole, do you think you'll ever write a book about your cancer journey?
Wow. I may. What I was thinking, which might be more fun, is writing a tips and tricks kind of book. Um, because there's so many things that people don't know, and I'll see things online, and I'll read comments of someone's like, I'm an oncology nurse and I'm telling you there's nothing you can do for like A, B, and C. And I'm reading it and I'm like, yes, there is. There are things you can do for that. And even when I ask some of my nurses at my treatment center, they don't think that there's things you can do for it. And I'm like, but there is. This is your job, and you're right. And I look at even the other patients. I'm the only one icing my hands and feet. I'm the only one like putting the serum all over my eyebrows and eyelashes. I'm the only one doing these things. And I'm the only one that still has my eyebrows and my eyelashes. I'm the only one not griping about neuropathy. It's there's just things. So I just feel like there's simple things that you can do um that for some reason are just not out there for people to know. So I don't know. I don't know.
I like
Everything
that.
seems overwhelming to me right now, to be honest. All of it is a lot. So
Yeah. I
maybe.
like the idea though of tips. I mean, I think a lot of people have, probably written books on their journey, but I like the idea of,
Yeah.
hey, if you have to go through this journey, this is, some of the tricks I learned.
Yeah. They were
Yeah.
really helpful, really simple. Simple things.
This one's from Chris Clark. It says, Nicole, film legend Roger Corman recently passed away. You worked with him in The Haunting of Morella. Do you have any memories of your time with Roger?
I of course I do. it was the thing about The Haunting of Morella was like I read it and I was like, what the hell is this? And it was one of those things where you do the project to work with Roger Corman to have that on your resume. Um, and he was great. And I said to him, look, I don't want to be naked. I'm too young and like I'm embarrassed. I don't want to be naked in this film. And he's like, no problem. And brought it's body double in there, like right away, no problem whatsoever. Just like good like that, knew that I was uncomfortable, didn't even try to persuade me, didn't offer
Good.
me more money, didn't try to threaten me, like none of those things. Just got a body double. So great guy. Fun movie. um it still has a following. And yeah, I was really sad to see he passed, but what a legend.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Shannon. It says, Nicole, when you're approached by fans about your career, do people talk to you more about being Jamie Powell or Summer Quinn?
Ooh, it really depends. It really depends. There's a big fan base for both. I would say people bring up Charles in Charge and even Who's the Boss a lot. Um, a lot. And then Blown Away is another one that I get a lot. So Baywatch kind of falls in there, but it just depends. It really kind of just depends.
Yeah.
They're both pretty equal.
So when people approach you, do you feel like you have to share a story, or you just like, how does it usually go? Do you hey, thank you for watching, or appreciate, what do you say?
Yeah, usually it's like, "Oh my gosh, I grew up watching you," or, "Oh, I was a big fan of the show," and it's like, "Yeah, thank you, thank you so much," and it's, just, it's like that. So if people have questions, I have no problem answering questions, but I'm not one of those actors that if you recognize me, I start performing because 'cause I've seen that.
That sounds
I
crazy.
mean, there
Yeah.
are actors who are so excited about the attention that they will go into
Yeah.
stories and this and that. You want to take a picture and oh my god, let's do a video. You want to call somebody? I don't do all of that. At least not
That is funny.
voluntarily. Yeah. Not without being asked. So I usually keep it pretty friendly and simple and sweet. And it's always nice when someone, recognizes and
Yeah.
appreciates and yeah, good times.
It's funny you say that, because being in radio for years, I'll run into a radio guy and it'll just be him and me, and they'll talk in their radio voice, like completely different voice than what they normally have. And I was like, what the fuck you doing? There's nobody here. Like, stop. And it drives me crazier if they don't use their real name on the radio from what I know what their real name is. And then I'll just start calling
Uh,
them by their radio name. Like, hey, let's pump the brakes. Nobody's fucking here. Just you and me. Stop.
yeah, I mean,
God dang, it drives me crazy.
I,
That's funny.
people are like that. I got a phone
Yeah.
call from a producer of one of the shows I was on, and he proceeded to he said, "I read about what you're going through. I want to talk." So I call him back. He went into a good 10-minute pitch on what he's doing, not realizing that I'm on top of all of this. I'm producing, and he asked me if I know that there's a documentary being made. He asked me, did I know that my executive producer from Charles in Charge was helping them, to do Baywatch? Yes, sir. Yes, I a big part of my life too. I'm fully aware of how this all went down. He and I had many discussions about it. And the documentary, I'm producing on it, buddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah, I
know it
got it.
exists. I know it
Yeah.
exists. And
That's
it
funny.
just I just was sitting there going like, how out of touch. Like he knows he's calling me and it's kind and I appreciate it, but it's like he has no idea like what
That is funny as shit.
did I know? I don't know if you know, but there's a documentary being made. Oh fuck.
No
Yeah, I
kidding.
know.
Really? You don't say.
Yeah. Give it a call. I'll have to check it out.
Oh, that is funny. All right,
Yeah.
last one from Shannon. It says, Nicole, what is your go-to recommendation when people ask you what they should binge watch?
Um, oh, Well, that depends on the week, right? That depends on
Yeah.
the week, the season, the month. Um, I mean, Yellowstone is a big one. You wanna go back and you wanna do, Sons of Anarchy is a good one, Breaking Bad, um, gosh, and of course, everything Bravo, everything TLC, because those are just easy, mindless binge watch. I don't know. I'm sort of blanking right now.
You said some good ones.
I
Yeah,
did, right? Yeah.
I always go to, like, have you seen Breaking Bad? Did you ever watch The Sopranos when it came out? That kind of stuff, but you named really good ones. You did good. You did good.
You
That
know, surprisingly enough, I never watched The Sopranos.
you did not.
I've been thinking about going back and watching it, and the only thing that stops me is because
Yeah.
I feel like, is it dated? Like, am I gonna look at it
No,
like, "Oh, this is" no. Okay,
you're gonna love it.
I'm gonna watch
I
it.
think you'll love it. Yeah, it's so one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's and I don't know, big fan. I'm curious to know if you do start watching it, what do you think of the acting? Because James Gandolfini, who passed away, was one of my favorites, and it's always sad when you see an actor pass away so young.
Yeah.
And just curious to know what you think.
Well, I know, I would want I think it's great, all those actors are amazing on there, so, Edie Falco's amazing. Did you
Yes.
see that they have a new, Sopranos, like,
Yeah,
a new generation coming out? So,
I
made me
saw that
think
with
like,
his
"Oh, I
son.
should go catch up." Yeah, I should go,
Yeah, I'd like you to if you have the time. I'm curious to know what you think. And again, I was one of
yeah.
those guys that thought the show got better as it went on, kind of like Breaking Bad. But I'm curious to know what you think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna do
that's
that.
it.
Yep.
So I appreciate the questions right there in the mailbag. Again, it's very simple, perfectlytwistedpod.com. You'll see the mailbag on the top of the screen. Click on that, get your questions in. I would recommend this. Get your questions in sooner than later because often I'll just take the most recent one. So it's one of those where, hey, if you want to get in the rotation, get the questions in when you can. So
Dave's a
again, thank
first come,
everybody.
first serve.
I am, because I feel bad if people waiting in line. I feel like, the guy at the bakery, we pulled the ticket. I'm like, that guy's been waiting in line the longest.
Yeah.
It's his turn. That's
I
kind of the
love
way
it.
I do it. So,
And thank you for the
but
questions,
I
guys. Yes,
appreciate it.
love them. Always, always enjoy them.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
that's it for me. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad. I'm really glad about your good news at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I'm proud of you to say it because I know it has been a lot of work. And it's something that's close to your heart.
Yes. Yes, thank you, and, I will keep everybody updated on when and where to watch.
Perfect. Good deal.
Okay. See you later.